a destination can be another part of being complacent.
Yeah.
You never arrive. Sometimes when we begin to think that, oh, we arrived and we made it, then you sit on so many other things that you could be doing. You just, as our church motto is, as you go, we grow. Sorry,
Yeah.
Pastor Kelly, if I got it wrong, but as you go, grow or something like that. And that's all you have to continue to do. The further you get in life, continue to grow, continue to learn.
Yes.
You'll never stop learning and living.
Oh no. I don't get it. It's okay. We get it.
I was like, yes, Lord, come on with the cancellations.
Ooh, we going in and not just kidding.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm black. Am I good?
He's with the best of them. And he's one of my favorite men to come emphasize.
that entrance sounds like much more than who I actually am.
My guest of honor is the perfect definition of the rose that grew from the concrete. She was born and raised in Fort Worth, Texas, and spent most of her childhood in Butler housing projects. She's a gifted woman with a huge heart who currently serves as a Head Start teacher. She received her associate's degree in teaching, and she's currently enrolled at Tarleton State University working toward her family studies degree. She's a wife and has been married for 10 years, which is a long time. She's a mother of a beautiful daughter, Harleigh. She's the owner of Curvulture Boutique, and most recently, she became an author. She dropped her first book entitled Harleigh's Hair. This book encourages beautiful Black girls to fall in love with their hair. Now she's gearing up to release her second children's book entitled Daniel Finds His Roar. Today, my guest of honor is Megan Bradley. How you doing, sis?
Hey, y'all.
They need to know everything you doing, so I have to make sure I plugged everything.
Well, thanks. You made me sound amazing.
Y'all are amazing. Everybody says the same thing. They're like, why you make me sound like that? I was like, you doing all of this. So I'm putting it in there. How has everything been going?
Pretty good. Everything's going pretty good.
I know 2020 threw all of us for a loop. And it kind of hit everybody super hard, but I love the fact that you were able to release your book and do a lot of other stuff. So tell me, what was your reasoning for writing the book?
So with her, it was really like one day I got super frustrated. I got tired of being super frustrated about her hair. And I think we came back from somewhere as a family, and I sat on my couch and I wrote the book.
That's awesome.
Just like that in a couple of minutes. And then I was like, well, let's see how far we can go.
How did you go about getting it illustrated and everything? Because a children's book is so different from the other types of books because there's a lot of steps, included. So tell them a little bit about how you got the illustrator and everything.
So the illustrator, I just did a little searching. Illustrators are really hard to find, and we want to use the people we know, but it doesn't always work that way. Yeah. So I just found a different outlet and went with the one that I thought was best, and we've been having a great ongoing relationship so far.
Yeah, so that means y'all gonna have multiple projects.
Yeah. She's awesome. She did her Christmas card, and she'll have some Valentine cards coming out, and then the next book as well.
So tell me a little bit about Daniel Finds His Roar.
So Daniel Finds His Roar is, of course, it's after my son. I lost a little boy at 4 months, and his name was Daniel, of course. So Daniel is a little lion, and he's going from animal to see what he's missing. Mm-hmm. So he won't find until the end where his pride or his confidence or however you will use it at the end of the book, he'll find it in a unique place, so to speak.
I love that because we all can relate to that. Look, all of us are trying to find purpose and find our way. And I think that can speak to adults as well. We might need to start reading children's books some more.
Yeah, if you know what, children's books are some gems in children's books. So I know a lot of people was like, well, what about the boy? And I never thought Harleigh's Hair was for just a girl. So I was like, well, let's shoot it this way, and then but Daniel can go both ways this time.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
That's true. So tell me a little bit about being a mother. I know that it can be a hard transition, but it's like
oh
it's a like beautiful chaos. So
yes,
tell
oh
me
my god.
about motherhood, because I'm not a mother, but hey.
So being a mother is, I used to feel like when people said that that's the best job, I used to be like, girl, go get a job. But you know what? That is the that is the absolute best job you can ever find. Like there's I don't think anyone can ever love you like your child. And she's only 2. But
Wow.
it's a type of love that I needed, of course, right after right before losing my mom. And
Mhm.
I can't explain it. Like a child's love. They say a mother's love, but the love your child gets before they get all crazy and out of order is it's amazing.
Yeah. Kids, that's why I love working with kids, because they
Yeah.
do the most honest people.
Hmm.
Old people and kids are the most honest people. They don't care.
They don't have
Um,
anything to lose.
yeah, no filter. They haven't been tainted by the
Hmm.
world yet. So they
Yep,
like
that's true.
shoot from the hip. That's what kids do.
Hmm. And you know what? You can learn so much from a child because they're fearless.
Yeah.
And you know what? If we had the ability as a child, that's when we should really push, because there's no fear. You're not the kids dance in front of anybody any kind of way. They don't care. They do the silliest things. They have no fear. They have no shame. So we really could learn a lot from kids. But yeah, being a mother is the best thing I ever was able to do.
Yeah. Well, tell me what your mother taught you. Like, in what ways do you see her characteristics coming out in your motherhood?
Well, um, some, you know what, to be honest, some of the things I said I wouldn't do or say, I'm already doing and saying, like, because you just don't know, like
You 2 years
kids
in
really
and you
do.
already doing
Yes. And she's only 2. I'm like, hey, okay,
it.
but my mom was definitely strong. And so honestly, some of the things that I'm doing now as a mother are some of the things that I kind of didn't appreciate my mom doing when I was growing up. Just kind of being strong. Because any little thing, babies getting shots or even them hurting themselves in a slightest way, it's like super overwhelming to a parent. Well, me anyway, like I freak out over every little thing she does. And so I'm kind of pulling from the strength that my mom had of the unknowing, just kind of walking through, um, just being as great as possible as you can, as you go. And those
Hmm.
things, like I said, I didn't see those things when I was younger. So I pray everybody can see how amazing their mom is while she's here. I really do.
Yeah. Tell me what your mom meant to you and still means to you. Just because she's not here in the physical form doesn't mean that she's not with you. So
Right,
tell me
right.
tell me what she means to you, and like what you want to show her, like, moving forward.
Um, So truly everything I do is like for my mom. Like everything is to honor my mom. She was totally a you do okay in school, you didn't have to have the best grades. My mom just wanted you to be okay. She
Mm.
wanted to know if you chose to go to college and get a college degree right after high school, or whether you chose to work and work your way up. She kind of just wanted to know that you would be okay. And
Mhm.
so some know my mom, I lost my mom at 54. That's extremely young
It
to
is.
lose someone. And my mom, if she could have, she would have worked all the way up until, her last days. And so my goal for me and Harleigh is I don't have to do that. I definitely don't want my mom's living or her afterlife to be in vain.
Yeah.
I want to be it's okay. I know sometimes it's hard to accept it. It's okay to be financially stable. It's okay to have wealth, because if you are in a place of stability, then you're more calm as a person, which helps your physical state as well too. If you're not worried about making ends meet and things like that. So as far as my mom, everything I do, I just I try to pull from everything from her and say, I'm doing this so I don't have to, my daughter doesn't have to see those type of things or endure those kind, because it's tough seeing your mom in that shape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my mom is the impact of everything. Like the way I live, the way I'm trying to live to have a better life for her. And then I just want her, I know she pretty much is proud, you know, she just
Yeah.
wanted us to be able to take care of ourselves, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about being a wife, because you have like 10 full-time jobs. You're a mother, you're a wife, you're a student, you work, an
Right.
author, everything. So tell me how it is having a partner that support you and what it means to be a wife.
So to me, being a wife it's been a friend. You know,
Mhm.
we've been together since we were 16 years old. So we were able to be friends first. You know what I'm saying? So to be a wife is just to be a friend, it's to be yourself, to make sure, honestly, as a wife, make sure that you're whole. Make sure that you go out and you get everything that you want to do. Sometimes you have to be selfish towards your husband. Sometimes you have to be selfish towards your kids, because if you're not whole for yourself, then you won't be anything for anybody else. So to be a wife is just to be yourself
Yeah.
and to give, to compromise a little bit more, because it's not always about you. You just have to make time for yourself. So to be a wife is to be a leader. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, I don't want that," and this, and that. But if you ever get to that place, you know what I'm saying, you want to have somebody around you that you believe is a good role model to look at, as far as that, somebody that can be transparent, to tell you that it's not always easy, but but it's definitely not always about the now. Being a wife is definitely not about the now. It's about family.
Mhm.
It's about legacy, somebody to build with, somebody to. I totally don't know what I would do if I couldn't go to him and be like, "Oh, hey, I'm finna write this book. Oh, I thought about doing this." Even down to, you think this a nice looking outfit for the boutique, you know? So, like I said, mostly at the beginning, mostly to be a wife is to be a friend, to be yourself, you know?
Yeah. A lot of people get so hung up on the word being submissive, and what they fail to realize is your husband is going to be submissive to you in areas as
Mhm.
well. So I think it's crazy how people get hung up on it and they think it's a weakness. I think you have to be extremely strong to
Yeah.
like be like, I'm gonna let you take the reins on this, okay? I trust
Right.
you. Whew, I trust you. I'm gonna let you do it.
Yeah.
So I commend you on that for real, because I know it's not easy, but I love to see love, like true love, and it makes me happy to see
Yeah, it's
y'all,
tough.
because it lets you know that
But
it's possible though. It lets us know that
it
it's
is.
possible. And you
Yeah.
know, that's something that they tried to break in our culture for years.
Hmm.
So they succeeded at it in a sense, but I feel
Yeah.
like it's coming back though.
Yeah.
It's coming
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Well,
Set your boundaries and, hey, talk to your spouse and get it the way you live.
yeah, get it.
You
Yeah,
know,
everybody's different.
it is very different. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that you need to be whole and you need to go out there and do the things that you feel like you need to do. And I know that balancing everything is a whole is is hard, but you do it very well. So tell me,
Thanks.
how did you come up with the idea to do the boutique and like manage all of your passions?
Well, so the boutique I have been talking about for a couple of years.
Hmm.
Just as well as the books, I have probably 10 or 15 children's books. I've been doing for like 10 years. I just chose my daughters first, you know. Um, but the boutique is something I wanted to do for plus size women. Uh, we can walk into stores and find plus size clothing, but it's not always comfortable and it's not always true to size, and it's it's just a weird experience sometimes
It's just
for us.
floral,
Yeah.
floral, floral, floral. I'll be like, bruh, I'm not wearing
Right.
that.
And then the whole crop top thing, and high waist jeans, or I wanted it to be something where I could look and I could find something and say, well, I got some hot girl plus size women, they like plus size, they like tight, they like uh back out, you know.
Yeah.
And then I have some plus size women that just, you know, basically I wear a t-shirt and sweats or you know, things like that. And it's like I want to be comfortable. I don't want anything clinging to me. I don't want any weird materials. So that was my purpose of that, is just to really try something that I've been saying that I wanted to do for a while, and find something that will be comfortable for plus size women.
Hmm. So that was the spark for it. But I'm glad that you did that, because it's hard to find clothes out here. A lot of us don't even want to change our style because it's a
No.
whole process. You be like, I can't
Yeah.
find nothing out here. So
Yeah.
go ahead and tell them how they can contact you when it comes to that.
So I do have both Instagram and Facebook for my boutique, which is Curvulture Boutique. And you can follow me on there. I'm working on my website. I'm kind of gotta be honest. I'm kind of scared of the website for right now, but yeah.
We're gonna get you there. It's okay.
All right.
We're
I'm
gonna
like,
get you.
dang. I'm not sure if I'm ready for that yet. Well, yeah.
You honestly, you're doing it already with Instagram. The same thing you're doing with Instagram is the same thing you do on your website, except for once you set it up, it's set up, and you can just
Yeah.
update it whenever you want to. So,
Yeah.
but how old were you when you realized that you you wanted to take on entrepreneurship?
It's 33.
Oh, so it was recent.
Yeah, this year.
That's how
Last year.
it.
Um, I mean, I've always had so many things that I always wanted to do. I just always been kind of fearful to do them. So I don't think I'm like all the way ready to take on and say, oh, I'll put my 2 weeks notice in. But it's amazing to see yourself, to see the things you put out there
Mm-hmm.
become what you always imagine them to be. You know what I mean? Like, um, so yeah, I just now and so I'm not sure where to go, but I just pretty much started having enough confidence to do
Look, it don't matter when you started.
it.
I'm happy
I
that you're
don't
here.
want to lie and have a
No,
backstory.
I don't want you to lie. I want you to be honest. I love the fact that you telling the truth, because most people be like, "Oh, I knew when I was 2." Like, no, you didn't. You didn't know that. But honestly, nobody is really fully ready. Like, we just be
Yeah,
like, "I'm gonna take this leap, and we gonna see what happens."
yeah,
And
I got the downtime. I can say I got the downtime from my job. You know, from maybe March to July, I was
mhm,
at home. And
yeah,
so it was like, if you're gonna be at home, they steady dropping stuff in your bank account. You better you
yep,
better just go ahead and try it. I mean,
yep.
it's a good time to pass or fail at this point, you know.
That's part of the thing. I think that 2020, although it's still going on, the stuff's still going on. But
Hmm.
I'm saying, like, I do feel like God allowed us to have a moment.
Hmm. That's
Even
right.
though people were dying, it's like it's bad,
Yeah.
but it's good in it too. He gave
Yeah.
us a moment to like get some clarity, to remind us that we're here for a reason,
Hmm.
and give us a moment to like really make the decision, or if you about the life or not.
That's right. That is absolutely. You know what? It's good. It's always going to be good, and it's always going to be bad.
Yeah,
So you can't. It's kind of hard to say, well, I didn't want to do it because this was going on. Hey, if you can make money during the pandemic, you good,
yep,
doing pretty good. So
yes. Well, let's talk a little bit about education. I know we
okay,
met each other in high school, so we went to Trumbull Tech, the best high school in Fort Worth. But
yeah,
but tell me a little bit about your educational
right.
background and what you planning to do.
I have an associate's degree from TCC, and it took me forever because I was not always a school person. You know what I mean? I'm still not. So I would. This will be my first semester. I wanted to be a teacher. And I actually got a full scholarship to Texas Wesleyan in the fall.
Okay.
And I didn't take it because, you know, kids not going to go home and say, teacher, we don't know. She's not teaching us. So I wanted to be very, very honest with myself as far as that. I would love to be a teacher, but I just didn't think I would give my best foot towards it, if that make, so I kind of I hated to turn down that full scholarship, but I felt like Tarleton was the better place for me to go. And it's a lot of it is online. So I'll be in child and family studies.
Okay.
I know people said a million times and say education is not for everybody. School's not, but education is most definitely for everyone. Like, you have to have knowledge of the things that you're doing. Even if I wanted to take my boutique serious, it wouldn't be anything wrong to take business courses. You have to have knowledge. Even when it comes to like the boutique, I research for hours and hours, and instead of looking and paying for vendors lists and buying things that people say, "Oh, I'll tell you how to start your boutique in 10 days," and this is snap. No, I stayed up and I looked and I educated myself before I put myself out there. You know what I mean? So that's how I see education is a lot more broad than people think. It's definitely about finding your purpose. If you want to do HVAC, there are schools where you can get it in 9 months. If you want to be a cosmetologist, and it's so many other things that you can do. You don't have to go the 4-year route.
Don't.
Education is a lot more broad than what we tell our kids, and they're not gonna be a teacher, doctor, lawyer. If Harleigh told me she wants to have her own beauty shop, I think I would be a very proud mom. So I think education is for everyone. I believe just depends on how you want to go about doing it.
Absolutely, education is important. Period. And you learn. I feel like even if you go to college, like, you learn more outside of the classroom. The social skills part of it is the main key to me. Because I feel like that's why God sent me to school, to learn how to speak the language and how to coexist with all different types of people. But education happens at home with with your drunk uncle that be teaching you the game. No, for real. He giving you free game. Your aunties, your cousins. Education happens everywhere, and it's not confined to just like those 4 walls. So I definitely agree with you. So now college is not for everybody. If you don't want to go, you better find another avenue to get your education. That's all.
Don't waste nobody's time and money.
Please don't waste your time and money if you're not ready, if you don't want it. So I agree with you with that. What are the top 3 things you feel a student should focus on? Like, if and when they go to school, like, what do you think is like the top 3 things they should focus on?
I'm trying to think what I focus on. Consistency. I would choose consistency for number 1. I would say focus on being focused, staying focused, and enduring.
Yeah.
I can't tell you about how to have good study skills and stuff because I'm not there. I'm quite the procrastinator, but being consistent in school is very important because it took me so long to get out of TCC because I was going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And so when I finally got out, it was because I stuck it out. Whether I was taking 1 class or 2 classes a semester, it just became a part of my life. I made it a consistent part of my life. I didn't worry about the next person going full-time and graduating before me. I just said, I can do it, how I can do it. And that's what I focused on,
Yeah. I will say this, like, that's a real major key, like, not focusing on what other people think or what they have to say, because at the end of the day, it's your journey and nobody can really tell you anything about it, unless they're giving you constructive criticism and offering solutions. But even then, you have to be you have to make sure that it's coming from the right people. But I want you to talk a little bit about how important it is to have good people around you, because we all are in different circles. We meet so many different types of people, but people are not always there for you in the right way. So tell me, what are your 5 non-negotiables when it comes to having people around you, like your circle?
I don't know if people use it, shiesty folk. I don't like no shiesty genuine. I that's really, I don't, maybe not 5. I like genuine people. I don't want anybody around me jealous hearted. And that sometimes some of the people closest to you are very envious towards you or towards other friends. And be supportive. And
Yeah.
being supportive does not mean like I sell plus size clothing. Well, if you a size 3, you can't buy my clothes. You know what I mean? But I have friends that they share every single post that I make about my boutique. I have friends that started at the bottom and said, "Hey, I'm proud of you. I can help you in any way that I can." You know, support comes in all different ways. You know, some people I see a lot like on social media, oh, it's a popularity contest or it's this. Nah,
Nah.
as long as you have a strong circle, whether it's big or small, you're okay. You know, so I would say that be supportive, don't be jealous, be a genuine person because life happens. You know, if I've had friends where when me and Kel got married, we never stayed together. So getting together, paying our own bills, it was rough. So when friends used to call me, okay, we got money to go to clubs or go out to eat 2 or 3 times a week. Well, it totally changed when we were so young at 23 when we got married, you know. And so I don't believe me and Kevin changed who we were. Our situation changed. And some friends could not understand it because it was a different scene. But see, I couldn't tell someone, well, we're struggling or we can't pay rent or we can't do this. And I lost a lot of friends that way because people expect your day-to-day life to be the same. It doesn't. We grow and we may grow apart, but as long as that's why I say genuine, it may be another word for it, but as long as you're a genuine person, and your character doesn't change
Yeah.
and you stay the person that you are even when situations change, I feel like that's can make it through anything with people like with genuine people, you know. Now, you got
That's
some
true.
frauds, you got to be careful.
You do have to be careful. And they are very, very persuasive. So you gotta be careful.
Oh,
But I always say that, you can grow, but the essence of you always stays the same.
that's
Like,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, you are still who you are. You've grown. You
Hmm.
expanded your territory a little bit. That's all it is. You should still
Yeah,
be who I met. Like,
that's true. And then I'll say this too because when you talk about people, it get you. You see signs whether it's friends and spouses or family. Watch those signs of people because there are truly people who are going to want you to stay the way you are.
yeah,
I was a person who talked about doing so many things for so long, Katrina, and I never went out and did it. So in this last year, I've seen some things in some people to where it's like, you still supposed to be that same person that couldn't afford clothes in high school, or I had to pick up, or I had to help out in this situation. Those people, they show you from the beginning, but you're blinded by the things that they do for you.
yeah,
You don't always have to um come to everybody's rescue. It's those rescues in person, friend. Like if I call you, if it's a party or if I'm getting married or if I'm there, they are always there. But when you missing your child or you lost or your mother you lost, they never text back. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
Those type of people have been in your life from day one and you've known what type of person they are. You just accepted it because they did so much for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, or they had been there for you when you thought you needed them the most at the time. But life will have a way of showing you that, oh, you know what? I know that she did used to do that. So those type of people, when you see it, it doesn't matter what you think they can do for you. Those type of people you don't need in your life because when you get to a place where God has already asserted you, you just had to meet him there at that level. Those people are not going to be happy for you.
No, they're not.
And it's true. It's a whole lot of what's her name? It's a whole lot of Molly's in your life of insecure, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So you have to be careful about because they always have shown themselves to you, you know.
yeah. And I will say this too. They chose to do that for you. That was
Hmm.
their decision. You are not indebted to people
Right.
like that. I think that's one of the biggest things people like fail to realize, just like if we did something, like if I did something for you, I'm not just to hold that over your head
Right,
because
exactly.
I chose to do that. Like,
Hmm.
so I don't want anybody to feel like they're indebted to somebody just because somebody chose
Right.
to help them. You be grateful, but you don't have to
Yeah.
like be tied to forever. So
No.
not at all.
Just have to bring that up because it's just some of the stuff that I'm experiencing now, and it's like, okay, well, okay, I'm not 17 anymore, but okay.
Yeah. And the more you elevate, the more people will reveal themselves. So just
Yeah,
be
of
grateful for
course.
that. Be like, cool,
Right,
I know exactly who you are. I'm gonna slide you over here.
right.
Put you in
That's true.
categories.
Right.
So, well, since we talking about the woes of success, tell me how you define success for yourself. Like, what is success and happiness?
Success to me is that when you are to a place of happiness.
Hmm.
Um, it's not about money necessarily. It's not about status. It's not about a job title. Success is truly you saying, I wanted to do something. I set out. I did it. I was successful in that because it's a lot of people that won't even get out of their bed in the morning. So I chose to take the step to say, I'm going to do something different. If you get a college degree and you wanted to be a teacher, you became a teacher, you're successful in my eyes. You know what I mean? If you worked at Walmart since you were 16 years old, you wanted to make manager, you made manager, that's success in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's success is different. It's only determined by what you set out to do. And once you get to a point to where you're doing what you said you would do, to me, you're successful no matter what your bank account says.
Absolutely, for real, for real. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned bank account because I feel like a lot of people struggle to balance, budgeting and trying to get their
Hmm.
life together, especially in our 20s. Like people was out here
Right.
like, I go to work next week, I can spend it. So tell me how you managed your money when you were 20 versus now. Like, what's the difference now?
I'm a tightwad, y'all. Like I always have been with my mom used to get income tax back in the day. She give us $20. I
Hmm.
get mine in all ones. I put it up in that rubber band, and then I only was buy like a couple of Debbie snacks and a couple of bags of hot chips at a time. I didn't feel like I needed to ball out on that $20.
Right. Shoot.
I always been kind of a cheapskate. So I won't say that I have perfected anything. I definitely would like to see myself get better with budgeting and savings. I would say I'm a lot better with my business money than I am with like my personal where I work my work money.
Yeah.
Because I know if I don't have any of that, then I don't have a business. So so I try to keep money in my business account, especially for emergencies or like I said, I have a boutique. Sometimes I just see items, boom. So in your 20s, I would say you don't need it. Just tell yourself, I don't need it.
You don't.
I don't need to go out to eat because we went to Cheddar's in my 20s every day.
Boy, Cheddar's got all our money.
Yeah. Cheddar's, they got all my money back in the day. So you just have to tell yourself in your 20s you don't need it because you're actually working towards a better financial stance in your 30s.
Absolutely.
So if you don't tell yourself in your 20s, then it'll be hard to tell yourself in your 30s, and then hard to tell yourself. So it's better to just figure it out in your 20s and say, I don't need it. And
Yeah.
then let me get myself to a place where I can be financially stable a lot sooner.
Yeah. Tell
That's something I'm
me,
still working on.
look, we all are. But we're in progress, so we're in
Hmm.
process for it. So tell me what you learned most growing up in Butler housings because everybody thinks about, if you grew up there, they think it's a bad thing. And I feel like you saw a lot of things, but it helped shape and mold you into the person that you are. So tell me what you pulled from where you grew up at.
So growing up in a projects was a little different for me because if anybody stayed in a project, you have like a block and it's like 3 apartment complexes, 2 per thing. We couldn't go off our block. So my mom would tell us, "Y'all not gonna be no project kids."
Speak
And
that, mama.
she right, she she sent us to school on the south side, That's why a lot of people tend to think I'm from the South Side,
Yeah.
because I went to school on the South Side. My grandmother stayed on the South Side. So I honestly grew up thinking that the South Side was like the suburban area. I had no idea, because my mom, it was like my mom was, I thought she was giving us a better opportunity, which I love my schools anyway. But so being in Butler housing for me probably was a little different. I had my block of friends. I could not go around the corner by myself. Literally, we could not walk to the payphone by ourselves. We could not go up the hill to the store by ourselves. But as I look back on it, it's a lot more humbling situation than I thought it was, because we don't know what you did or didn't have. My mom always, we always had the nicest house. Like my mom, we always stay clean. She always made sure our house was clean. My mom always been a really center person, so we always had some nice furniture.
Yeah. Hey.
So I won't say, like a lot of people want to say, oh, I got it out the mud. I will say in a sense I did, because we had some really hard times, but more than so in the projects, it was more so about just like maintaining a regular life. I never thought I was any less than anyone else. Even staying in the projects, I never knew.
Yeah. That's why I always tell people, like, they think that we're from other places because we don't live there anymore. I still live in Forest Hill. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
It's not like, but
I stay on the South Side.
Yeah, right. And I love the fact that I come from the South Side and Stop 6. Like, that's where I was raised. You know what I'm saying? And being around all of that, seeing everything that I saw, that definitely helped me to know what I needed to do. It inspired me, and I'm grateful for my humble beginnings. Like, I really am.
Because some people say, "Oh, you're not a product of." I am definitely a product of the projects. I am the product of Butler Housing Projects, because I am on the road to be. I don't even know how to say it. Like, I'm doing some decent things in life, so It doesn't take away any value from me for you to say anything about. That's where I was raised.
Yeah,
my mama did every single thing she could for me. In that project, I that's exactly who I am at heart. And it wasn't until I was like probably the last couple of years that I embraced that. I would always say, "Oh, I'm from the South Side," and some right I am, because of where my grandmother stayed. But I was born. I'm not born, but from like 4 to 13, I stayed in Butler Housing Projects, and I used my grandmother address for schools, like everybody,
right, like everybody else.
like everybody else did. Y'all don't stay in Crowley, but it's okay.
Y'all don't. Y'all just go to Crowley.
Auntie and them stay in Crowley where them kids go to school at, but it's okay.
It's all right. Yes.
That's what you think is better for them.
I'm happy to hear you say that, because, like I said, until you embrace it, you're not going to be able to move forward or try to, elevate from to wherever you think you want to go. You're not going to be able to do it until you embrace your whole being. So that makes me happy, because I know that's a good thing. So that means you're on track. You're on track.
Yeah, I'm definitely that's where I'm from. I did not pick up some of the things that I wanted to. I did not get to chase some of the little boys that I wanted to, because I couldn't go off my block. But
you don't go to this block, you ain't gonna be able to talk to me.
that's where I was at, and wherever my mom moved, that's where and then it helps to know that you can say, "Oh, I was raised," like I could say, "Well, my granny was on the South Side." Sorry, the ice cream truck.
Yeah, right. Hey, it's all right. That's authentic right there.
I'm sorry. My grandmother lived on the South Side. I was in a project. It helps you to be honest about those things and say, wherever my mom truly listen, there's no way in this world that I'm gonna carry on a hood. Because wherever Jackie went, that's exactly where I went. So I feel like take the parts of your past that's important. And the rest of it, if it doesn't make sense, if you have to be a certain age and say, "Well, I'm from such, you don't have to tell me if that's where you're from.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of people didn't know I was raised in the project. I don't have to go shout it to the mountaintops.
You don't.
You know what I'm saying? But it's nothing wrong with it. But it's not who I am. It's what I had to go through. You know what I'm saying? So I don't let it be like, "Oh, I'm such. No, something that you gotta let go, baby." But you have to push forward. We tend to take so much of our past with us, so we will seem authentic. who you are is your authentic self. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Whoever you are, wherever you come from, you know?
Yeah, your experiences are always gonna be with you. I always say it's your expertise because it's your experience.
Right.
So
Right.
you good. Like you don't have to
Right.
tell everybody. Like
No.
most people do that as a defense mechanism because
Yeah.
they're not happy about it. I'm like, bro, you still here though.
Right.
So you made it.
You
Well,
made it from that butter and rice. It's okay.
all right. Well, I got 2 more questions for you.
Yeah.
Do you believe your purpose is a journey or a destination?
Definitely a journey.
Okay, good.
Definitely a journey. I don't care what you choose to do in life. You always have it's always a continuation until you leave this earth. Your destination is with him.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
My opinion only.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Because if it was a destination, then it's just one thing.
Mm-hmm.
We got
And
multiple gifts out here.
That's right. And that's what I was about to say. Sometimes people say a destination can be another part of being complacent.
Yeah.
You never arrive. Sometimes when we begin to think that we arrived and we made it, then you sit on so many other things that you could be doing. You just as our church motto is, as you go, we grow.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pastor Kelly, if I got it wrong, but as you go, grow or something like that. And that's all you have to continue to do. The further you get in life, continue to grow, continue to learn. You know, you'll never stop learning and living.
You won't unless you stop yourself.
Right.
Unless you stop yourself. Okay, so my last question is, if you knew then what you know now, would you change anything?
Definitely. I would definitely change some things. My old first lady told me, sorry, y'all like stories.
That's good. She's an author, guys. Of course.
He told me that because I used to be so caught up on people's lives and why I wasn't at a certain place when I was really like around in my 20s. And she told me that I didn't know the cost of somebody else's oil.
Come on, first lady.
And I didn't. And I always understood that, but I didn't ever feel like I would get to that point. My point is when I lost my mom, and I wouldn't wish that we all are going to lose someone, but that was a really, really, really tough experience for me. But it was also my drive.
Yeah.
It was the only way that I could say I have a reason to push forward to do these things. I wish I could say it was my baby alone, but it wasn't. It was me losing my mom and me saying, I don't know if you're going to see it or when you're going to see it, but when I see you again, you'll be able to say, I saw you do it. You know what I mean? So I wish I didn't have to use my mom as a goal, as fuel, but she just is. You know what I mean? So my thing, if I could do it all over again, would be able to pull from a place of power instead of a place of pain. Yeah. Because that's kind of what I'm pulling from now. Like I'm taking all of that to not have breakdowns, to not sit and be like, woe is me every day. I'm saying, okay, I thought about you. I cried about you today. I'm finna get up and do something in your name. So I wish I could have worked from a place of power when I was younger. I wish I knew my worth when I was younger. I wish I knew that I could go out and write a book and be successful when I was 22, when I first started writing my first books, but I didn't. So I would say
someone needed to hear that, to be honest with you, because a lot of times that's really what stops us. It has nothing to do with ability. It has everything to do with what we believe about ourselves.
That's right.
So like, I'm happy to hear you say that, because that means you've grown and you understand like what's going to make you tick and what makes you move. But in a sense, you are still pulling from a place of power, because everything happens for a reason. And maybe that was the one thing that God was like, I'm going to call her home, but I know this is going to push Megan to be, who Megan was called to be. So I'm so happy to hear that. And I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, friend.
Well, yes. Well, I think you gave the people some great information, and I
hope
think
so.
You did. And I thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate your time. Like,
you're so welcome, Katrina.
Know how valuable time is.
No problem. I appreciate you having me.